Here we are, part 4 of the turbo build on the R33 sedan. I've just got all my parts to do the injectors and stuff like that. I do want to say a big thank you to everyone who has messaged me, telling me they're loving the videos. I really do appreciate it. Makes me want to film more, and that's why I'm trying to post so much more content for you guys. But as you can see, I got all the turbo stuff off now, so we're gonna finally fit up this and mount it all up. I've gotten all the parts here. So I got my 45mm external gate, got the fuel rail, 1000cc injectors, got the relay and everything, fittings to do the fuel pump wiring, Mac valve here, and the manifold. I finally gave it a good paint up after I welded the V-band to the manifold. So that was pretty much the last thing. So I can bolt this on and therefore bolt the exhaust and all that stuff on, which is super exciting. Because I can almost, once that's bolted up, I can start it up and see how it sounds. I'm not gonna do it, I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for it. I'm still waiting on the fuel pump and the airflow meter, which should be here, well, actually today, but I'm not gonna get it today. I'm gonna try do some of the fuel rail stuff, but it will be in this video. So I think this video, we should get started. I'm gonna have the tuner come down and do the startup tune on the Niz tune. So that'll be awesome to get this thing started. Got to do fuel line, stuff like that. So excited for this, super keen. So I'm gonna start, put the manifold on, put the turbo on for the final time, hopefully, and then we'll start doing the injectors. I do have the wrong adapter plugs for them, unfortunately, but does not matter. And one thing that no one actually said anything about it, but with this cooler piping, I'm waiting on a bead roller. That's why I have not, there's nothing on the end of there. So if you don't bead roll it or weld on beads, it'll pop off under boost, which you do not want. But that's awesome. I'm gonna start ripping into putting the turbo manifold on. Not gonna bother filming because I already have done it once. So I'll be back in 1 second. So I got all the turbo manifold bolted up properly, all the oil lines all fitted up tight. I thought I'd give it a bit of a test start to see if it would run. Didn't really want it because of all the bloody air leaks, but it is what it is. We're going to start pulling the injectors out now, which means normally you'd pull the top plenum off, and you got all your bolts up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you got I think 4 or 5 underneath, and they're the biggest pain in the ass to get to. So a cheap way to do it is you can pull the throttle body off and you can sort of get your way in there. So I'm going to give it a shot with that first. If it's too hard to get, I'm going to pull the top plenum off, which I do not want to do, but that's all right. So start pulling the injectors in, getting all the fuel rail set up to bolt up. Got this adapter here to suit to the stock reg, which is going to simplify things a bit easier, a bit cheaper as well, so I don't have to buy a new reg. But that's it, start ripping into pulling this thing apart. Okay, it has gotten dark real quick. I have got the injector rail out. It was a bit of a pain in the ass. My video also stuffed up, stopped filming. Got the old rail here, pulled off the old fuel pressure reg, chucked it on, and ran into an issue with the actual fuel rail hits the pipes coming out of the plenum. I can't really show you here, somewhere under there, which I knew happens. I actually knew that happens. I accidentally ordered the wrong injectors. I got the 3/4 length, I needed the half length, which don't fit. So I ordered these 3/4 length injectors, when I needed the half ones to fit. But that's all right. I was speaking to the tuner and he says that the idle air valve that runs to those hoses can be deleted. So if I've got to pull off the top plenum, which I didn't want to do, but I'm gonna have to do now. I pull off the top plenum, pull out the copper barb that comes out of it, and I've got to weld it up, and it should clear. Well, it will clear, and we can chuck the injectors in, which is annoying. So I'm going to pull off the top plenum now, and I'll just get it off, get the injectors in, and then I'll probably call it a night. Okay, got the rail and the injectors all in now, as you can see, nice and sturdy. This is a stock fuel reg on the adapter. I didn't know you can get them, they're actually a really good idea. I'm hoping that clears, because when it was on the stock rail, the nipple for the vacuum was actually super close to the cooler piping, which would have sucked for a vacuum line, but hopefully this is all sweet. I'll know once I get it back on. And this is broken. I just noticed that's broken. I must have snapped it, ripping it off. What a dumbass. Oh well. Now this is the thing that hits. So you got this vacuum line that comes off there, this vacuum line that comes there, and they actually go to a valve for the cold start, which the tuner says that we don't need. So what I'll do is I'll heat it up, pull this nipple out, I'll cut this one off and weld it up, and then be able to throw it back on, but that'll be in tomorrow's job probably. But anyway, that's gonna be me done for tonight. See you in the morning. I'm back from work. It is the next day now. I'm gonna start heating up this thing here. Start heating it up with the little oxy thing I got. Try pull this out. I'm gonna grind it down a little bit, and then I'm also gonna unbolt the idle air control here and then weld up this to block that up, and we'll get onto it. There we have it. Got the hole all welded up. Looks a bit nasty, but she's all right. I think she looks pretty good. Maybe not to anyone else, but here we have the idle air control thing welded up as well. This thing also looks hella nasty, but as you can see, bolts like that. And now it's got a lot of clearance, so it'll clear the fuel rail. So I'm pretty stoked about that, so I can get this on. I did accidentally break this when I was pulling it off. Just a rookie mistake right there. I think I have a new gasket somewhere, which I'll chuck it on. Really hot, I shouldn't have touched that. So I can chuck it back on now, and we start ripping into it. All right, I've done a quick test fit of the manifold, and it clears with a bit of space, which is good. But I'm pretty much, I think I'm gonna leave it off because I still have to get my new adapters for the injectors, and to save it being a bit of a pain, I'm gonna leave it loose so I can, so I can chuck the injector plugs on, so I can connect the injector wires up easier. So in that case, I'm going to move on to relocating the power steering, which got the bracket here, got the power steering pump down here, all clean. Basically, I could get a proper relocation kit, but I can't even try to save money here, all right? So I'm going to cut this bracket up and I'm going to move it. Here to the strut tower, but I've got to re-bend it up just because it's been in the wrong way, obviously. And I'm going to cut it to suit. So that's what I'm going to do right now. God damn it, suck. I clicked film, didn't work. But here, this is the bracket I've got. As you can see, cut off this part of the bracket here. Put the little rubber thing in as well as the sleeve to make it work. But I've got the bolt hole right here on the strut tower. Basically just goes like that. As you can see, a bit of distance. It's not going to hit the bonnet, luckily. It does get a bit close down here, but one second. A little bit close down here, but worst case, I can just cut off the tubes a little bit, shorten it to make sure the hose does clear. The hose will have to have a little kink for it to work, but at least it gets away from the turbo and not spending the fortune doing a relocation kit. But sweet. Another thing I just realized that I need to do is when you go high mount, you run into issues of burning and destroying the loom. You don't want it to short out and have issues like that. So a good idea, I've done it to customers' cars, done it to my cars. As you can see down here, the loom is like right next to the manifold, which you do not want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, before I do the hose and stuff, I'm going to pull out the overflow bottle, pull off the guard, and I'm going to unclip some of the plugs and reroute it under this guard, just so there's no issues of burning the wires and shorting anything out. It's just one of those things that you want to do when you go to high mount. Just peace of mind and reliability. Got the loom out now. I've just had to pull it all back. It was a bit of a pain with the ABS module in the way. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it or not. I should probably get rid of it. But I do have this plug here that goes to the passenger front wheel for the ABS. This is the plug that connects it to it, which I'm probably not going to bother extending because I will end up getting an ABS delete kit from GK Tech. Basically, I was going to unpin it, but this thing is probably way too corroded. It's probably end up falling apart. So I'm just going to chop that ass and extend it instead of repinning it. And I'll have to do the same with the AFM here, which I might not even, I'm not going to get done tonight. It's too dark already. But I thought I would jump on the bike, see if I can do a bar spin. Done that. Really hurt my shoulders. Sucks ass. God damn. It hurts. I'm real sore now. But I'm going to start, chopping this wire, chop this loom, maybe start extending it, or at least trim it back so I can see the wires better. But yeah. So I've done the old chopperoo, and I've got it actually mounted in here as well. So as you can see, and basically that's all you need to extend it. So it's not much, but it's honest work. So yeah, just this much, do something like that. To get it tucked up more, I'm going to trim here. Basically just go bzz, bzz, trim it up, make it perfect, and then we are laughing. I'll try to get it done tonight. Got all the wire stuff down here. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do. Crimp it, bloody twist and tape, and that's it. Shibby! I think I've got all the rest of my parts now. Got the adapters for the injectors, got AFM plug, have this 90-degree fitting to come off the back of the fuel rail, got my Walbro, got the Walbro fuel pump here. They've changed the name to TI Automotive or some bull crap, something like that. Don't know. So it's a 530 fuel pump with E85 safe, all that stuff. So keen. There we go. Walbro Automotive fuel pumps are now TI Automotive. So there you go. No fakes here. Just dropping everything. Here's going to be the power cable run from the battery all the way to the boot, which is going to be a pain in the ass. Don't know. Don't care. So I'm going to start wiring in the AFM. I've got the cable all sorted, all looped all the way over here. I'm going to run it down there somewhere. I've got to look up online exactly how to wire it up. All right, it's been a little bit now. I've not had any issues, but I have been busy doing other things and stuff like that. But I finally ended up getting around to doing the AFM plug. So originally from the AFM wiring, this being a Series 2 car, has a Series 2 loom, obviously. This is the airflow meter plug right here. You have these 3 wires that come from it. You got your, pretty sure this is 12 volt. Then you got your signal, and that's, sorry, then you got your ground, and that's your signal. And then you have with the Z32 AFM, you have obviously the same one. With the battery ground and the signal ground, you basically just run it from the original ground to the 2 centers, that being 3 and 4, or C and D. Then you got the black and white is your 12 volts, which for my one I've changed it up obviously to the green one, and then that will be your signal. I can't remember. I'm the last person you should be taking advice for on electrical work, but yeah, I don't know if it's gonna work. We're gonna find out. It's something I found online. I'll put a photo up just so, or maybe put a link to it or something. Do not go by whatever I say. But yeah, that's it. I can chuck the top plenum back on now. Now that I got the fuel rail in finally. I've got this 90 here to run off the back of it. That's the fuel pressure reg I'm using, standard one adapted from the fuel rail. And then I've got this fuel reg down here, which I'm just gonna delete. And I'll run that straight up to the 90 on the back of the rail. I'll probably chuck this back on. Still waiting on the bead roller so I can chuck all the cooler piping on. I've got the exhaust on now, as you see. We're getting there, we're getting real close. Next on the list will be to do the fuel pump, which, yeah, pretty close. And I can get the tuner down here, he can do the base map, start it up, which I'm super excited for. Still need to make a dose pipe, get a air filter. It's got a 4-inch outlet in the housing, but I want a good dose, so I'm gonna do a 4 to 3 inch reducer. Need to make a scrammer pipe, which it's pretty close to aircon lines, which is annoying. Another thing I need to do is change the aircon condenser, because it sounds real bad. As you can hear that. She sounds nasty. And when I put the aircon on, it's embarrassing. So I pulled the belt off, so it doesn't sound like crap, but we're getting there. I've got another video in mind for the track car. I refurbished these headlights probably about 8 months ago. They're a bit dirty at the moment, but pulled the housings all apart, cleaned them up properly, resprayed the outside of it, and sanded it, clear coated it, and it turned out wicked. So I feel like that might be a good video for people looking to refurbish the headlights. But yeah, it's something good. It helps make the headlights look way better. These were really messed up. I'll see if I can chuck a photo up to show you what I mean. But yeah, let's rip into it, because I'm sick of talking, sick of filming. I need to get this thing closer to finished. All right, I have the top of the plenum all on, injectors in, fuel rails done, AFM's wired in. All looking good so far. It's a bit late now, so I'm gonna go inside and I'll do the rest tomorrow. Get the throttle body on, get all the lines hooked up, and I'll start ripping into the fuel pump. It is the next day, Saturday, around about 1 or 2 o'clock. Got everything back on, had a bit of a late start today, got the fuel lines on, plenum all done, throttle body done, all the wiring done. So now it should start, but I've quickly got the spark plugs out, got some brand new ones, just some BCPR 7s. This is what I run in my track car. They seem to be fine. They're real cheap, and always chuck some copper grease on it. Some of that Penrite good stuff right there. So I'm gonna chuck these in. I do have to change a few lines around. I actually done them backwards. Got to go feed to the rail, then reg, then return, not reg first. So I was gonna quickly swap them around, and I might be able to start it. It's gonna run really weird because, again, it's not plumbed up, but I want to at least hear it with the exhaust on. Make sure the manifold isn't leaking or anything like that. Oh, she's smoky, girl. It runs and it has a nice note. Sweet, so smoky. It I was making sure that thing start up, but sick. It actually runs. All I did was quickly swap the fuel lines at the base. So now I've got to quickly put the fuel filter into the feeder line now. But it doesn't run very well, one, because the AFM isn't plugged in, so you can't really rev it properly. It won't go over, I think, 3,000 RPM without it plugged in. Idle air control is obviously doing nothing. As you can hear, it's like, but sick. I'm stoked it actually runs. Sounds alright. Next thing we'll do is now we'll do the fuel pump, and we'll start running the power cable from the battery, and all is good. So because we are going to E85, I am draining the fuel tank. I've just hooked up the fuel pump to a battery, and was pumping it out into this jerry can. So once it's all empty, I'll start ripping that fuel pump out. So I've got the fuel pump out and apart. This is the new Walbro / TI Automotive one I'm using. Problem when you run a big high amp fuel pump is you tend to melt out the plugs on the top of the fuel hat. So a way to combat that is you get these bolts, and there's what do you call them? You get these terminals and stuff, and you get these plastic O-ring things. You drill a hole through the fuel hat. It doesn't burn out. It's basically something that everyone does. But one of those things also, don't listen to what I do. I don't know. I hate electrical work. I'm going to mount up the fuel pump into the holder. Oof. Got the fuel pump all in the holder, as well as the wiring done. Got the Allen key thingamajiggies all done up. Got the earth strap on this top one. I'm going to chuck it all in, and then I'll run the power cable through the whole car into the boot, and then when the tuner gets it, he can wire it in properly. Yeah, there we go. Got the fuel pump all in. As you can see, got the studs there. It's a little bit close to that hose, but that's all right. Don't really care that much. I already tested it out, made sure it did work. Worked all sweet. But now we're gonna go get some E85, and we'll go chuck some fuel in it, and then we'll go, run the E85 through the system and stuff like that. You know, back in a second. Hey. Oh, let's fill this baby up. So now I've got 20 litres of E85 in this thing. I'm gonna hook up the fuel pump again and start pumping it out until I can smell E85 out of the front of the car. And then we're gonna chuck that fuel into the daily. Free 20 litres. That was clean. That was so clean. I was about to start making up the screw pipe for the wastegate there, and I found I have a old one just sitting around. It doesn't quite fit, but it's close, and it's already got the bends there, so I don't have to do any more cutting. So I'm just gonna chop off the V-band there, make a bit more of an angle so it will clear the aircon line as well as the oil drain, and have it probably come out, let's say, I want to try and get it roughly like that. So I may have to do like 1 or 2 pie cuts to make it work, but it's less work for me, so I'm happier. There we go. What screw pipe are we looking at? All done. It's fairly away from the oil drain as well as away from the aircon line. I've still got a bit of adjustment there. I probably want to have it back in there. That's pretty happy with that. So I'll get up there and tighten it up at the bottom, but got some of those dabs on it, looking nice. Sweet, now that's done. We are now just waiting on the bead roller as well as the tuner to do. We're just waiting on the bead roller to come and the tuner to come down so you can wire in the relay and the fuel pump. Again, I don't want to touch wiring. I do as little as I possibly can. And then we can run it all up and get it running properly, get it tuned, get a base tuned so I can take it to the dyno, see how much power it makes. I'm so excited for this. So hopefully sometime this week, maybe next week, get it down to the dyno. So sick, I'm stoked. Almost forgot, we first have to do an engine flush. So once it gets running, I'll maybe go for a test drive or just run it for a little bit. We got some engine flush over here, some of the Pemrite stuff right there. I think you chuck 500 mil roughly into the engine, run it for half an hour, whatever, and then drop it. I'll chuck some semi-synthetic into it, probably run it again. I'll probably do a couple flushes considering of how dirty it was, but yeah, that'll be next on the list. Here we go. She's done. No, really, she's actually so fast still. I decided to chuck the front bar on and work out how much I need to cut out of it for the cooler piping. I did end up dummying one up just so you can see it in there. Bit of a tacky job, but it is what it is. There's not really much I can do until the tuner is able to come down and suss it out, wire it all in, do the ECU and stuff. So it might be a couple of days, might be a week, I'm not too sure. So I think I'm going to close this video out here. Super stoked with all the feedback I'm getting on this build. I really do appreciate everyone reaching out and messaging me. tell me how excited they are, because they want to do the same thing, or either they're just liking the video. So if you are liking them, make sure to send me a message. It really helps with my motivation. And if you do like the video, give it a like, subscribe. I think we're pretty close. I think we're like 1,700 subscribers, almost at 2,000. So when we do hit that too, might do a little skid, a little celebration skid. See if my mum will let me do it in the driveway. These tires are coming off the front of these. I don't need them, so I could always chuck them on the rear and pop a set when I get my diff, which should hopefully be very soon. Thank you heaps for watching. Thank you for subscribing, liking my videos. I'll see you in the next video, part 5 of the turbo build.